the foundation of today's mastermind comes from, a retrospect of being in the business for, almost 30 years. And I see a lot of agents and a lot of our peers, even in the business, are concerned about the changing market, because we've been in a bit of a bumper crop for our industry in the past 18 months. And I want to assure everybody that if you stick to the foundation, the fundamentals, and I'm going to say that those of us who on a Friday morning at 9:30 are here, we're career people. We're not casual agents. We're not the ones that are going to be exiting the industry because of a trend in the market. And my message today is, how can we, keep our business steady or increasing in a marketplace that's shrinking? Because I think everybody, conventional wisdom is the marketplace is going to be shrinking, and we've already seen the exit of a lot of casual agents that came in because they were home with COVID and they got their real estate license. They thought it was cool, and now the world is changing, and we need to go back to the things that we got a little bit complacent with. And we've talked about a lot of these things. The three pieces I want to emphasize in 3Xing your conversion skills are, what you do when you're working with a seller, okay? Because before we talked a lot about getting them to list the property correctly. And now I think we're going to have elevated skills to help the seller assess, offers that come in. And usually the best offer is what offer you get when you have a house listed. Who wants to tell me that? First. How many times is the first offer the best offer? And has anybody been here where the seller's like, it's too soon, and they pass on it, and then they wish that they had accepted it? Yes. Right? Now, we're going to be getting back to that time where it's critical that we advise sellers not only to price it right, but when those offers come in, and there might be a time in the next 3 to 6 months where the offers are going to be, I hate to say it, below asking price, right? And if the seller is not of that right mindset, they might reject that offer, and we're going to wind up with more work to do business. And if it takes you 6 months to do a sale day versus 6 days, do you get paid more?
No.
Is the customer happy?
Nope.
So our industry is built upon providing results and having that strategy to get it done. Number 2 is how to get your buyers and sellers to commit to working for us, commit to working with us, and how to get your buyers offers accepted without overpaying. Now, that's an interesting question. I'm going to maybe go to Ron or anybody that wants to volunteer on this one. How do you get your buyers offers accepted without overpaying?
It's really hard to hear every word you're saying, Rob, because you're in the office and it's echoing. So I didn't quite understand what you just said. So if you can repeat it again.
How do you get your offers accepted? Okay, how do you get your buyer offers accepted without having them overpay? Is a premise, and I don't want you to think about it too much.
Well, I think you have to educate them first and let them know what's happening with the market. I think everybody is pretty much educated of what's happening right now. So if it's my buyer and my seller, I'm going to tell my seller that first offer is always the best offer. They can counter it. If it's my buyer, I'm going to know where I'm at with my buyer. But if I'm working with the buyer only and we're making an offer on a listing, I'm going to tell them to be as aggressive as they possibly can. I will probably do comps for them to show them what's sold in the neighborhood. Maria had a good point just a little while ago. She was saying, instead of looking at the sale price, look at some of the list prices and kind of go from there. So I would probably tell the listing agent, if this is your first offer, you might want to consider this. As far as telling my buyers, I'd probably let them know that they need to be somewhat aggressive, but to kind of educate them by showing them what the numbers look like on the MLS and what they're listed for and what they're selling for. So that's my suggestion.
And Ron, how about the art of even putting together a tight communication to the listing agent? Like when you have a listing and you see offers come in and you have price and terms, do you ever see a contract that's written poorly? Or do you ever see somebody who doesn't even call you when they submit an offer? How about if you get an offer that is submitted where it has everything outlined, right? And you should have that as a template. Who has that as a template? Where when you submit an offer for a buyer, it says, here's their attorney, the closing date, the reminder if they're waiving any of the inspection items. Does anybody have that as a standard procedure?
We
I
do.
used to.
Who's that? Alexa? Who said they used to?
This is Scott. We actually do that. We send an email with the outline. And when you're making that offer, like you're saying, the contract just needs to be presented strongly. If you could put more upfront escrow, that always looks good. A shorter inspection time looks good. Be able to have your lender sometimes speak to the listing agent always helps with the
That's what we do.
Financing.
Yeah.
And then overall, looking for what the seller's needs are. If you can get that listing agent to give you a quick conversation about, well, what does the seller want? And in that way, you give them what they want in the contract. Maybe not the price, but like you said, the presentation is everything that they're looking for and strong.
Yeah, having the mortgage broker speak to the listing agent is tops, really. That usually gets you over the hump.
So, lost sight of everybody that's fixing something. So, I think those are some of the things. I think that's one of the things that we neglect. And for me, if you look at how the industry is transacting when you have a listing, and then you connect the dots between what does yours look like when you're submitting an offer, right? Anybody want to volunteer? Like, what is your anybody in the room here? What does yours look like when you submit an offer?
I have all the information of the contract sale. I also stipulate with highball, I include all the attorneys, pretty much everybody in the transaction, also the loan officer, whoever it is on the bottom, the pre-approval, and then I send that separately. I'll send buyers the borrower's information, so that's on the email that goes out.
So, and it's the same like virtually every time. And who has a template? If you're on camera, raise your hand when you do it, and then you fill the blanks in.
I know for a fact that Avi in our office religiously sends us a template, all the information for every party, the lawyers, title companies, mortgage companies, reps, every detail, and he introduces all of them himself. I try to do it as well, but I do it more as a breakdown, like in a paragraph form. I don't do it as a list.
Right.
But he's religious, like with that breakdown.
I do the same thing.
What's that?
I also do the same thing where when I'm sending out the signed contract, I put everybody so there's no mistakes who's representing who. So like the seller side, I can list them, and then the buyer side.
You want to know something else that I find to be really interesting? And I'm going to ask you if you've ever had a transaction with a professional that maybe is not specializing in the industry, or somebody that you don't have synergy with. Has that transaction been difficult? Like, for example, an attorney that you don't know, maybe an internet lender that your client found online. Anybody had that experience?
Yes, they don't keep you included in the emails, and the only time you find out the information is through your client.
it was more like managing them as well as the transaction.
So what I'm gonna share is when I look at, agents, and there tends to be a high correlation of the more successful agents having the ability to, and I don't want to use the wrong term, to influence their clients to work with a team of people that's gonna get the job done, right? Instead of saying, Robert, I refer 3 attorneys and 3 lenders, right? It almost makes it seem like it's not significant to the process. And that team ultimately determines what their perspective is on how that transaction went, right? Because if it's no fault of ours, but the transaction doesn't close on time, they're talking to their friends at a cocktail party, they're saying, oh, man, you don't want to buy a house. I mean, TJ was great, but the transaction was horrible. Like, do you think somebody's gonna want to work with TJ if that was the context?
Probably.
They might not even want to buy a house. But if you put a team around you where the execution is flawless, okay, your clients are gonna appreciate that. When I talked about point 2 is how to get buyers and sellers to commit to working with you. And I believe that's not by getting them to sign a buyer's agency agreement. It's not by getting them to sign a 1-year listing instead of a 6-month listing. It's by delivering unparalleled service. And part of delivering unparalleled service is if you have, we give you a sports analogy, if you're like one of the best players, but you don't have a good team around you, are you ever gonna win the championship? I don't care what sport it is, whether it's soccer, football, baseball, right? One player does not make a team, right? And Dave Liniger has a famous saying, which is 1 log makes a lousy fire, right? And you can't win without having, a team around you and without being able to demonstrate the value proposition of working together and getting stuff done. Do I think that real estate is going to be easy if you have a qualified buyer? Probably not, because I think there's still limits on inventory, right? Do I think you're going to have 40 offers? Probably not. Do I think that you can get away with mispricing houses like you did in the past? I don't think so. So that's why I want to focus in on tying up the loose ends of these skill sets, these 3 things that are going to take our business to that next level. And a lot of it is consistency.
So Rob, before you move on, I just wanted to mention something about a really advanced step towards helping your clients, your buyer clients, is if we go back to presenting the offer with a list outlining all of the key points and everything. Think about the listing agent who may be receiving several offers, and there's one offer that sticks out because of the way it's presented, that they feel that this agent is really on top of it and is going to be somebody that I'm really going to look forward to working with.
Right.
I mean, that's a real plus,
Yeah.
especially if there's several offers involved. And plus you build credibility throughout the marketplace. Remember, yes, we want to get this transaction closed, but then there's the next one and the next one and the next one. And the more people who come to know you as being the professional who, does everything to make it for the transaction to go forward, is just going to help you time and again.
And did you ever, I'll ask you since you're talking, did you ever have a conversation with an agent where on paper the deal looks good, but you're like, I don't really know this person, or even worse, I do know this person and I don't feel good about it, and you have 2 very similar options, what happens?
Well, I mean, theoretically, we're going to go with the one where if I know an agent and I know that he's going to get this to the closing table, then that would be the way I would tend to tell my seller, this is the way to go. But I also research the agents who are submitting offers to see how much volume they do, how many transactions they do, to see if they're really a viable candidate to get to the closing table. I think that helps as well.
Yep, so sometimes we miss the forest through the trees because we're rushing together to put something together. And don't pick your own attorney. Here's what I recommend. You pick your own, then it becomes problematic. You know, and going back to fundamentals as well. With COVID, with it, you say this, I think that some of us can be very effective working from our home office, that flexibility, that benefit. There's a large percentage of the population that needs the synergy of other successful people, and I would bet that a lot of people learn their craft by being around other successful people, by hearing what they say and observing what they do. And when you're doing that from your kitchen table, your home office, it's a lot harder to be growing to the same scale that you're doing when you're around other people who you're seeing them overcome challenges and problems. Does that make sense? And I
think that's part of the benefit of these masterminds, is that it gives the agents who take the time to be on these calls, the ability to virtually interact with other agents when they can't and when we're all not in the office all the time. When I first started in real estate, you know, I was in the office every day and I hung out with and spoke to the top agents in the office just to see what they were doing, learn what they were doing, hear exactly what Rob was saying, hear how they talk to their clients and everything.
when did you start?
I started 17 years ago, just before the market crash.
So when the market crashed, did you not eat for a year?
No, actually, I've mentioned this before, actually, that I had my best years when the market crashed.
And that's a choice, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think if you look out there and you allow other people to influence your mindset, you're going to be euphorically negative. That's even a correct statement, because everybody's saying gloom and doom, you know, oh my God, Redfin says home buyer activity is at a 17-year low. You wake up and you have your coffee and you see that, that's not healthy. But I think that, you know, and I'm looking at, Scott, you're still, are you still able to talk?
Yes, sir.
So Scott, we talked about how your market has kind of changed, right? And the composition of the people that were buying basically got priced out of their local market, correct?
That's correct.
And what happens when people get priced out? Did you just give up on them, or do the people find an alternative where they can go to?
So with the people who gave up, a lot of them I'm still in contact, because a lot of them are waiting to see what happens, but some of them ended up renting. Some of them are just staying where they are, but there's still follow-up.
Did people wind up moving further and further north where they can afford?
Well, a lot of people did. A lot of people left South Florida to go to the Orlando area, where there's more construction, more homes, and the homes are cheaper, still higher price, but cheaper than here.
Right.
So a lot of people moved to the Carolinas.
So what I wanted to just highlight there was that, you know, here was an insurmountable problem, and Scott and I were talking about this, and there's always a solution, right? You can find an agent to refer them to in the Carolinas or in Orlando, and if they're a homeowner looking to get a bigger house, you know, the traditional agent says, oh, no, they can't sell because they have no place to go, right? And, you know, agents like Scott are able to find ways to provide the market to still have liquidity and to transact, because if somebody's living in a 3-bedroom house, they need a 5-bedroom house, and they got priced out of where they are, there needs to be an alternative to that, and we need to be the conduit to doing that. And, you know, if we know that we're going to be in this business, we know that we're going to have to pay our bills. And, you know, Robert, I think you said you had some of your better years when the market declined. That's mindset, because you had no track record to support that, right? You were brand new.
as to the,
Probably made it, you probably made it up in effort.
Yes.
And,
That's actually something that everybody should know, that with Remax, we have a really, really good referral program that if you just go on the remax.net, you just type in the city of where you want your clients to move to, and you'll find all the agents there. You can look by their hobbies. Everyone here should have their profile properly set up, but I mean, I've sold houses all across the country. So it's really an amazing thing. You should always tell your clients when they're thinking about moving out of state, oh, I can help you, because you can. You can find them a good agent just like yourself in whatever state they want to move to.
and even things like that we used to do in the past, you know, way back. Have you ever heard of a home buyer seminar? Home seller seminar? And I'm looking at Glenn Baker in the bottom right corner. Glenn, what did you do this past Sunday? You're on mute, sir.
I did the event in Denville.
And how much time was that? If you don't mind sharing.
The lead up to it was pretty expensive, but I did about 7 hours at the event.
And how much did it cost you?
$100, and then we gave every veteran $60 worth of gift cards to local businesses.
And what was the outcome?
3 potential listing opportunities and 1 new agent.
Wow. You got an agent?
Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, she's very interested.
And I think a lot of people are like, boy, you know, I'm too busy Sunday to go and do a town festival or a town day. And I know we did a parallel event at Morristown, and I think that was equally as successful. We captured a lot of names. I don't know if we've gotten any listing appointments or hired any agents, but I don't think we can top that one. What other things are we doing that, you know, maybe we neglected to do during our bumper crop season?
Well, so Rob, one other thing I'll just add. Tomorrow I sold someone a farm 3 years ago. We're holding our client appreciation event at that farm. So it's going to be, you know, we have lunch trucks, beer trucks, petting zoo, all that stuff, and bringing in all of our clients to thank them and appreciate them. Sure, it's going to come around in spades to us. Yeah.
And you're spending money. Did you hear the market's going down?
I'm terrified of that. I can't wait to grab more market share.
So is anyone else doing any activities that we absolutely neglected during the bumper crop season?
So Rob, one of the best things that I ever did, and I continue to do it, is I have a cocktail party at my house for my prior clients. And I love it because as I walk around the house, they're all saying how wonderful I am. But what's really happening is they're reinforcing and they're remembering, you know, how their transaction went. And then historically, I hear from 2 or 3 people after those parties that they heard about how well people did with me as their realtor, and they'd like to sit down and talk to me about it. So I think that's a good.
And let me break this down for you, for anybody here. So if you have a client that's not really thrilled with what you did, are they going to come to your house?
Be invited.
Well, I mean, forget about they're not going to be invited, but like if you invited all your clients, are the clients that had a positive experience going to be more likely to attend that event?
Yes.
And what's better than a bunch of people that had a positive experience saying, Robert did an awesome job? Oh, you too? I mean, isn't that amazing? And how many people came on your busiest time?
So I have a small house, so I invite like 20 people at a time. So it's pretty intimate, and we just have a good time. And like I said, the first time I did it, I was so blown away, just walking from conversation to conversation and hearing what they were talking about. It was great. As I say, it pays off.
So the best way to get somebody to commit and recommit to work with you is to do a good job which a lot of us do, but we need to remind them, right, and be top of mind. Because if we're not reminding them being top of mind, who's becoming top of mind for their real estate needs? Next agent, who else?
First person.
How about anybody ever think people might just go on a Redfin or Zillow and find somebody that way and forget what a great job you did? Because I think even, you know, the industry itself has something like a 90% customer satisfaction rating on people who actually close. And that's the big piece, is the people that actually close. The people who don't close are probably not very satisfied. Would you agree? The people who use you to list their house and sell, the people who use you to buy, they're in the 90% satisfaction rate. Who knows what the repeat rate is for clients? We get 30. What do you think? You think it's 50? Any other guess online? What is the repeat rate? If we do a 90% good job at our business, how many people use us for their next transaction?
30%?
I think the number is closer to 18, right?
18, that's the low.
So if 90% of people think we did a good job or we did an excellent job, and only 18% use us, I'm going to ask you, Tony, you've been in the business a long time. Why is that? Why if 90% of people love us, only 18% of people use us?
Most of the time is because people, agents, they don't keep in touch with the people. They don't make that contact, that personal contact. You know, they just send letters, and they just send what do you call their
Email.
Card, you know, once a year, maybe, and then they drop the ball.
And I would say that most of us, and I don't know, Tony, what kind of a grade would you give yourself on, you know, staying in contact with your satisfied clients?
Oh, well, I mail them 4 times a year. I send them a calendar. What I am missing is that personal touch. And I see that you know, in the last 2-3 years that you know, things were flying off the shelves. You know, I lacked off of that, so I have to get back into that. I have to get back into it, to go and meet the people, talk to people, and they love to hear from you. When I call and I say I have to apologize to you for not keeping in touch like I should, they say no, it's okay, we always think about you. But you know, that's what you want to do. You want to keep up with them, because 10% of your database business should come from that. That should come. If you don't get 10% of your database business from your database, then you're not doing such a good job.
So Tony, I want you to look at me. We didn't rehearse this ahead of time. I didn't speak to you this morning or in the past week, right?
Yes, I'd love to speak with you, but you know, we go different ways.
so that admission, and I thank you for that, Tony, is basically what needs to be highlighted. We could literally end this meeting 26 minutes early. We're not, but that's the point that I'm looking to drive and get at here is, you know, we know what we should be doing, right? And I'm not even going to ask this to you, Tony, but I know people who've been in the business more than a year and have sold more than 12 houses. You either have or you will have somebody that you're like, oh my God, they were so awesome to work with, I did a great job. And then you see that either they bought an investment property without talking to you. They put their house on the market for sale without talking to you. Their kids, their parents, there was some transaction that you weren't part of, right? I mean, is there anybody in this room that hasn't had that happen where you're like, I thought I was a slam dunk for that and you didn't get it? Wait, did that happen?
No,
You did?
I have referrals.
So Arena's bucking the trend, but I mean, it generally is happening, you know, and you look and you see something that comes on, or maybe you haven't noticed it, right? Because if somebody's son buys a house, you might not notice that, but if you call them up, hey, how's Billy doing? Oh, we just bought a new house in Denville. Like, why didn't I do that?
So we have to understand that we are in a people's business, and that we need to, that touch, it means a lot. A lot of people, they let it go. They think that social media, that's all they need to do. But the having that personal touch means a lot to them and to you there, because a lot of times I hear comments from people that I haven't talked for a while. Oh, Tony, I thought you made all your millions and you don't need my business anymore. No. I'm still working there. I love your business. I want to do business with you because we have fun working together.
Yeah, I mean, I think email, and it started from the post office, Tony, where you can mail to people instead of communicating with them. It is almost like a crutch for our business, right? We feel like we're servicing them because, Robert, I sent you a mailer, why didn't you call me? Right? And if they weren't one of the 20 people that were at your house, or they're not the people that you're talking to, or you're not running a aggressive database to keep in touch with what's going on in their life. I mean, in my opinion, you know, social media, and I'm not a big user of social media, so if I missed your own event, I apologize. But if you were tracking your clients and you saw that a child graduated from school, somebody got married, it's an excellent reason to reach out and have a conversation. You're not going to, you know, send them a postcard saying congratulations on your daughter getting married, right? That wouldn't really, that kind of would be weird.
Rob,
What's that?
it's Colleen. There's a wonderful tool. First, helps you to stay in contact with all those people that you may not have touched recently. I had Pavla sign up for it, and she called me the next day when everything loaded, and she started making calls. Her second call, she got an appointment with someone that she wouldn't have talked to, she wouldn't have thought of, and they were very happy to hear from her.
What company she signed up with? I'm sorry.
Colleen, is it creepy if you called the former client and congratulated them on the birth of their second child?
No,
Absolutely
they love
not.
to hear from you. They love to hear from you. Like I said, that, and also when you knock on the door, they feel like you're really working. You say, oh my God, you do all that work? Yeah, that's my job.
The microphone on.
They love to see you. They love to talk to you because they trust you. They've done business with you. So they trust you and they want to do business with you. You just got to keep in touch. And
Every 3 months.
Something about sign up. Where did we need to sign up? What is it that Pavla signed up for?
Oh, first is an app. You go to Mac Center and just put first in your little search and it will come up. It's a fabulous, fabulous app. I don't want to take up all the time explaining it now, but it gives you stars, like 3 stars. It'll pop up on your phone when somebody needs to be touched or called. Just like Rob was saying, if they have a child, if they're someone, the kids graduated from college.
Shut up again, Colleen. I'm sorry, I missed you.
Oh, you can sign up on Mac Center. Just type in the word first and the program will come up. It's $465 a year, and I guarantee you, you will make that money back tenfold.
I'm not guaranteeing that. You have to work it.
Oh, no,
yes, absolutely. Yes, Rob, you gotta work.
That's why
you gotta use it.
Yeah, you gotta have in front of you, you know, that nothing, you know, substitute hard work. You know, that's what they say, you know, talent, hard work beats talent when talent is not working hard, you know, and that's why you gotta have in front of you, you know, the discipline, the consistency, and also the intensity. You cannot just be calling people like a wet noodle. Oh, how you doing? No, you gotta be on top of the game.
Absolutely.
So there's an agent in this company who makes Chairman's Club almost every year with one assistant, and their whole business mantra, they've been with RE/MAX for I think 30 plus years. is to have 10 conversations a day. And then once those 10 conversations a day are done, not voicemails, but conversations, she can check the box that it's done. So now you know it's a woman, but I leave it there. If she wants to volunteer, she can. But if you think about it, like that's the core principle that drives $500,000 worth of businesses. I need to talk to 10 people a day. It's not a massive number, is it? Could everybody talk to 10 people a day? Of course you could. If you wanted to have reasons to talk to people, I watch a lot of like Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, a lot of inspirational and educational information, but I'm not an expert at everything. And does anybody have their Facebook, or maybe you can do it on Instagram, your followers or your friends set up in terms of who they are, where you can click on a button and you can see all your past clients? You click on a button, you can see all your friends, you can look at the activity streams. Does anybody have that set up?
I didn't even know you could do that.
I didn't know they had that on Facebook.
I'm gonna ask Glenn Baker. Glenn, do you do that? You're on mute, sir.
I have them all categorized, but I don't actively market on Facebook that way. I just I'm not the realtor that hunts in groups and things like that. Not my style.
Right, but so if you can just stay with me for a minute, I want to make sure I'm accurate. But I know years ago, I actually tried it, but I never followed up on it in Mission. I set up people in terms of people like friends and family. I set up real estate agents that I wanted to see what was happening in their life so I could reach out and talk to them about another opportunity. And I can click on, real estate agents that I liked, and I would see their activity stream of what's going on there, and I can reach out and call them. You still can do that in Facebook and maybe even on Instagram, where you get to see what life events are happening for people in a certain category. Take all the noise away from it, correct?
Facebook, yes. I don't know about Instagram.
So for this older folks here, Facebook is the thing. You can see what people are posting on Facebook. You can see life events, and that can be a way that you can find the 10 calls that you want to make a day if that's something that you're going to commit to. Does that make sense? Right?
I can share a quick story with you, because I follow.
Well, to make it simple, because the old timer and me, it's Ronnie and the other guys there. When we started and
Tony, can you mute yourself, please?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
You're not unmuted.
There, thank you.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, we can, yes.
Yeah, what I was saying is that we got to look at it like we're very lucky today, because the average checks now here for me is about $10,000. So if I have one sale a week, it's for a month, that's $40,000. How many people make that kind of money in today's world, in today's economy? So that's what, makes you do what you got to do. Because when we started, me, Ronnie, Colleen, our average check was $1,000, $1,200. When we sold something more than $100,000, oh my God, you made a big sale. Oh yeah, big sale. Oh my God. Yeah.
So Tony, thank you for highlighting the point, because how many weeks are there in a year? Not a trick question. 52, right? 10 grand a week, 520,000. Welcome to Chairman's Club by just doing that.
Exactly. You're exactly right. Yeah, it's very easy to think that way and to do it. If you
Chairman's Club is 500,000 gross commission, and I think that's something that is attainable for most of us who are disciplined to do those activities. And I'm going to ask Ron this question. Ron, do you know what the average number of contacts it takes to make a sale?
You're asking me?
Yeah, give me a guess. Like, how many conversations at the end? And all the experts are right around the same number. How many conversations does it take to have a transaction?
Probably a couple hundred.
Nope. Anybody know? The group here?
7 to 12.
I think if you look it up, I think it's 40 conversations or 40 touches for a sale. And I think I found that on,
Gotta make more than that. We call, as far as having conversations per day, you probably need at least 20 to 25 conversations. You said 10 before, but we try to make it more than that.
so
But you have to go through a lot.
Ron, if you're doing cold calling, right? And somebody doesn't engage, okay, that's probably not gonna be one of those 40 conversations, like, hey, you know, I'm not looking to sell my house to hang up, right?
Right.
I'm not counting that as a conversation, but if somebody engages and says, yeah, you know, we're thinking about it, and if you have people that engage in a conversation, if you have 40 of those, I believe that the industry is united in saying that 40 of those on average equals one transaction. And if you make 10 conversations a day, you know, you work 5 days a week, that's 50. That should statistically give you one transaction per week. And how many people in the industry do 52 transactions a year? Very few.
Well, the other thing is that to take in consideration is that, you know, the people that you call, certainly if you call just cold calling, you know, in an area, then certainly you're going to be talking to more people. But if you talk to people that they are your past clients, your FISBOs, your expireds, you know, those people, you don't have to make so many contacts and to get an appointment, to get a transaction. So what it is that you need to get better, you know, and not make it easy for you. The easier you make for you, the less you're going to produce. But the harder you make for you and the better that you get at it, you know, that's how you hit, you know, the low number and the high production that you high production.
Have so much to do.
Okay.
And we call probably every 3 months, we call those clients. And so we alternate it. We'll mail to them for 1 quarter, then we'll call them for the next quarter, mail to them for the 3rd quarter, call them for the 4th quarter. And then as far as cold calling, I mean, we call about 200 a day. And we speak to maybe 15 to 20, 25 people. Out of that, you might have like maybe 4 to 5 good conversations that people are thinking about selling in the near future. So they go in our database. But you got to stay in touch, like Tony said, you got to stay in touch with your past clients. They're the ones that give you business. If you don't touch, you know, if you don't get in touch with them every quarter, I mean, that we religiously do it every quarter, sometimes even sooner. And I rely on them to give me to give us business for today. As a matter of fact, we just got a referral from one of my past clients that Ryan just landed a deal with them. So yeah, you have to stay in touch with them consistently.
Well, the thing is that to make it consistent, there, you got to put on your schedule there the most important. You got to start from, you got to start from the most important, you know, that you got like at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, whenever you start with the new expired. After that, with the new FISBO. After that, you talk to your past client. And then, you know, certainly the last one, if you still have time and you're still standing, then you do, you know, what you just said around the just listed, just sold. But that should be your steps that you got to take every day in order to achieve, you know, the maximum return on your goal.
Well, the magic word was schedule. That's the magic word. Everything has to go on your schedule to remind you what you need to do each day. I mean, without a schedule, you're just
you are
walking in the dark.
Yeah, like they say, you are a sailboat without a rudder, you know, so you're just going around.
So Ron, I want to ask you something. If somebody called to make those 5 conversations, 4 to 5 a day, how much time do they need to be on the phone?
Well, we have the dialer, so we try to get through as much as we can, but probably at least 4 hours, 5 hours.
So if they're going 4 hours, they're having 4 to 5 conversations 5 days a week. Would you say that somebody doing that 3 to 4 hours a day could expect to have 2 transactions in a month if they did that religiously?
Yes.
So if you do 4 conversations a day, 5 days a week is 20. You do that 4 weeks. that's 80, divide that by 2, it equals exactly that 40 number.
Yeah, you got to remember, a lot of people, it's very seldom do we have someone that says, yes, we're selling now. Come on over and list my house or come and talk to me. It doesn't happen that way. It happens.
So Ron, I want to highlight that. That's the reason why people aren't consistent. Because if it doesn't happen right away, they give up after the 3rd day. But that's not how the business
They
is
think
going.
that doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, and again, Ron, we didn't rehearse this, right?
No.
But if you did 3 to 4 hours a day, you spoke to 4 to 5 people, you did that 5 days a week, I'd find it hard, and I would even, if you did that, and Ron, you told me they did that, I would call 4 hours with them one day, find out why they weren't getting that result. Because maybe they're calling a bad list, maybe they have a bad script, okay? It's not guaranteed, you need to be constantly growing. You know, I was speaking with somebody here today, and I went on a listing appointment with an agent earlier this week, and top agents, you know what they're doing? They're constantly putting knowledge in their head. They're listening to scripts, they're listening to thought leaders, and that's what's helping them to make it to that next level, okay?
Right.
And I really think we have to take one thing away from here and actually execute on it on this Friday. That's my challenge to everybody. Pick the one thing that you learned here, one thing that you found to be interesting to you personally, and let's commit to executing that, right? Whether you want to go on the multi-level dialer and do that to get some business, whether you want to go on to your Facebook and set up groups and look at what's happening to the clients and the family friends, and then just reach out and say, hey, congratulations, or, even if it's like they got a new puppy, like, who sees the people posting a new dog, right? All the time, right? Congratulations on your new dog. They're gonna be putty in your hand. You should be the obvious choice for them. And if we're not making those connections, then, honestly, we probably don't deserve the business, right?
Well, the other thing is that the people, they have to buy in the notion that talking to people, it's predictable and duplicable, like you just said. How many people does it take you to talk to get a transaction, to get an appointment, to get a closing? Yeah, and that's what people, agents, they have to buy into that notion that it's predictable and it's duplicable. You do anything else, which is good, there's all kinds of ways of getting in touch with people. It's true, but which other ways will give you that prediction and that duplicable? There's nothing else except you talking to people, touching the people, and meeting people.
Yeah, and your follow-up has to be, you have to really be on point on your follow-up. Because a lot of people tell us, well, we're going to sell probably sometime in the spring. So we cut that in half. So if they're thinking about selling sometime around March or April, we're in touch with them in December. And we're constantly mailing to them, staying in touch with them so that they don't forget who we are. Because a lot of agents, what they'll do is they'll get a lead that wants to sell in September of next year, and they'll wait to September to give them a call, and they're already listed and sold already. They're gone. You can't do that.
The other thing to that, I'm sorry if I interrupted. The other thing with that, Ronnie, which I'm learning now, is because here in the county that we work, that you work and I work, we've been working here, and between Miami to Palm Beach, there are 87,000 agents that there are. So I got so competitive. The other thing that they're teaching me that I'm learning is that whenever somebody says that I'm thinking about, I want to do this, I want to do that, just go and meet them. Say, okay, great. Let's set up a 10 minutes talk, and I'll show you what it's going to take, to get your home sold. And that way, when you're ready, you know exactly what it's going to take, and you can call me. So go there, meet the people, and find out, the true motivation, what it is that they are thinking, and that way you don't lose them. Because as they tell you that 6 months from now, I am going to do something, they are telling other people about that too. So, and some other, sneaky guy he's gonna get that in, and then boom, you lost your deal.
That's very true.
So
Very
that's
true.
one thing that they are teaching me now.
So I'm gonna involve, Alexa, can you unmute yourself for a second? You know what, unmute yourself? Okay. What I wanted to ask was, did you ever have a situation where you had a bad feeling about a transaction, right? Or you had a bad vibe, or you had a good vibe, and it sort of becomes a self-fulfilling event? And I'm wondering if sometimes,
The 2 for $39 bundle, the sausage McGriddle.
sometimes it's the energy that we put or we assign to something that ultimately determines the outcome.
Yeah, that's fine.
Shane, you gotta mute yourself, buddy.
With cheese. No, sir, that's it.
Shane, you have to mute yourself.
So, and I see Mark Feingold in the upper corner. How you doing, Mark? So, are you okay to unmute yourself for 1 minute? Okay, you're doing something. I'm unlucky here today with my selections, but I think if you have certainty that you're going to have an outcome that's going to happen, right? And more times than not, it's going to happen. And you know, like our experience with that listing that we did, right? It came out well on price. It came out well on commission, correct? And you know, we thought we had a demon that we had to deal with that I think we overcame together, correct? In terms of price being the decision-making point.
Yes.
So Mark is shaking his head.
Yes, that's true. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And Mark, how confident do you think we were as a team going in there on a scale of 1 to 10?
We were a 9.8.
I feel I was an 11. You must have been a 9.
I felt pretty good about it being there with you and Maria.
But I mean, like, I think, you know, the mindset that we can serve them the best, you know, ultimately carried the day for the activity. And my challenge is if everybody can, you know, get out of the, I don't want to offend everybody, but if we can, you know, try to erase the habits that we got into when the market was so abundant and get back to the fundamentals. And my challenge is just to take one thing, implement it, whether it's making 10 calls a day, doing some calling on the phone, calling your past clients, okay? Maybe you're in the position where you need to work on getting everybody someplace where you have it at your fingertips and you can manage it. You know, put them into KV Core, put them onto a spreadsheet, do something so that you have a structure and a system for reaching out to people. And I promise you that that fruit will bear abundant, that tree will bear abundant fruit, and you will not even participate in any change in the local marketplace. In other words, we will continue to grow because we have that abundant mindset, and we're now pivoting from the activities that might have been necessary. We might have got a little sloppy because business was easier to come by, and now we need to employ more structure to get to that next level, okay? To keep
Rob?
going. Yes, Connie?
Your consistency in the power of 5 is an excellent format to follow. Create a business plan. Create a plan to manage your database and sphere of influence. Add 5 names a day. Make 5 calls a day. Identify 5 things you need to do, 5 things you can delegate, and 5 things you must abandon doing. So, and then you have a list of helpful hints and ways to do that. But I think if you sent that out to everybody, or I can send it if you want, it was just a perfect format to get in the habit of doing this.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for sharing that. And I think that there are a lot of you know, different structures, Colleen, that if we just did it, Because you never make a sale from a postcard. A postcard is an invitation for somebody to reach out to us, and that's not, you know, you're not gonna get 10 people calling you. You spend $10,000. You're not gonna get 10 people calling you a day for the month, are you? It's not gonna happen. So we need to realize what the value proposition is, what we do. And to make a sale, ultimately, I need to get in front of Robert. We need to have a conversation. You need to buy into what I'm talking about. There needs to be a chemistry and a trust. And that's not getting done by email. That's not getting done by social media. That might be opening the door, but we need to have that conversation. That might be inviting the phone call, okay? But we need to have person-to-person conversations. You know, Connie, maybe you want to, in that structure, is, you know, whether it's once a week or once a month, go visit 5 clients. You know, maybe spend $10, give them a little bottle of wine or something that's relevant to them. And
Absolutely.
Just say hi. Nobody's doing that.
Well, I think people forgot about the Popeyes because of COVID, but now's a perfect time to do that. If you don't know what Popeyes is, you buy a little something, hand sanitizer, a candle, and just when you're walking, you target an area and you just pop in and introduce, you know, yourself and say hello. And also you can do Popeyes to past clients. Hi, just wondering how you're doing. Thought I'd come by and say hi. Right, Tony?
Yes, and the other thing that I would suggest to do is that helps a lot of agents is that knowing your market. You know your market, what's happening in your market, that you need to be the expert of your market. You know the numbers of your market, because I'm looking at my number here, and the single family home, last month they sold it, you know, in the month of August, they sold 1,600 homes. Now this past month of September, it went down to 900 homes. So what that means is that the market, we all know, is changing. But you got to know that it's getting tough and tougher, and the things are changing, and you got to get better and better in order to defeat, you know, your competition, so that you defeat your competition. And knowing the market, it makes you the authority, and gives you also the mindset that it gives you, you know, once you get the mindset that, hey, I know what I'm doing, people see that. But if you go in that you are me, they know that. But if you know your market, you show to them, say, you know, this means to you, you know, and then you keep going. That will make you win.
Tony, thanks for sharing that. I want everybody to only take one thing that you can actually execute. And I want you to implement it today or Monday. And I want you to do it religiously, because I refuse to participate in a downturn. Okay. I refuse to let this RE/MAX Select family down. We have within us and our team to continue to grow. And I will leave this call with this one message: is even in the great market that we had, our leadership team and the industry was complaining. No houses, you know, there's 40 offers.
Yeah.
Sellers don't want to sell because there's no place to go. Okay? We were hoping for this market. This market coming, and we need to attack it. And we need to attack it from a position of contribution and a position of discipline, so that we can reach as many people as we can help as many people as possible. I know that the team we have here can continue to grow. My job is to keep your eye on where the market's going, to keep your business moving forward, and let you know that we all care about every one of you, and we're here to help. And have a fantastic weekend, and look forward to seeing you next week.